It's hard to not feel overwhelmed sometimes, whether it's due to academics, personal relationships, other responsibilities, or a combination of all of them. But when I find myself overwhelmed, I like to turn to origami as a stress relieving activity. Hi, my name is Jasen, and I'm a recent alum of the Johns Hopkins University class of 2020. And today, I'll be teaching you how to fold an origami star, specifically the braided corona star, designed by Maria Snajska. This star takes about an hour in total to make and makes it a perfect decoration. Let's get started. The braided corona star requires 8 pieces of squared origami paper. You can obtain the origami paper either at an arts and crafts store or through Amazon. I prefer Amazon's Ito origami paper because it has colored on one side and white on the other side, which will be important for this star. First, you want the white side up and you want to fold across both diagonals like so. Next, you want to make a fold such that the vertical line touches the diagonal line like so. And then rotate it 180 degrees and repeat on the other corner. Next, we do the same on the bottom left corner. So we fold such that this line meets this line. Next, we want to fold this flap such that this line touches this line. Next, we lift the flap that we just made and we lift this first flap as well, such that we can tuck this one in and lift this one up like so. And then strengthen these existing creases. Next, we flip the paper upside down and then fold such that this line touches this line. The next step might be a little tricky. We try to squash this fold such that we create a cone-like shape. And then we squash it down such that this crease on top will fall directly on top of this crease. So pay attention. We squash it, and we squash it exactly such that the two lines essentially overlap. One is on top of the other one. See, this crease is already on top of this that's right beneath it. Now the next step is the most tricky step out of all of them, so pay careful attention. What we want to do is fold here such that it's perpendicular to these existing lines and intersect at the very center, which is indicated by the crossing of these two folds. And it might be tricky, so something that I like to do is pay careful attention to the center, and with my thumb, I like to make a tiny crease like so. That's roughly perpendicular, but I make sure that it crosses the center. Once I have that, I fold it in half and then try my best to extend these creases. So how do I know that this line is perpendicular to the top and bottom line? Well, there are 2 guiders that can help you. So the first guide is this corner. If this corner touches this line,
then that's perfect. That's what you want. And then if you also flip it over, the same thing applies on this side. There's a faint line here, but if the corner is on top of that line, that's perfect as well. And then notice how these two lines also sit on top of each other, right? Because this is the fold that we just made is perpendicular to the two edges, it makes sense that when you fold, the lines just go down and up. Our last fold, we'll be making a fold roughly around here, such that this point touches this point. So I make this point touch that corner like so, and then I flatten it and make a crease. If you did it perfectly, the fold should lie directly above this existing edge. And there you have it. We finished 1 out of the 8 pieces required to make the braided corona star. So repeat this for 7 other units. So I decided to fold 4 red and 4 green units to make a Christmas wreath. So let's get started on the assembly. First, we put the other 6 units aside and just take 2 units. So every unit will have a flap or will have a tab here, as well as a tab in the back. So what we do is that we link tab to tab on every adjacent unit. So I open the front red tab and the back green tab, and I insert them such that the green tab is inside the red and vice versa, and I lock them. They are both right angles and they will lock like so. Now I just repeat this for the other 6 units. Something to note as you're adding the 5th unit is that you want the 5th unit to go above the 1st unit. So the 1st unit is on top of the 2nd unit, which is on top of the 3rd, on top of the 4th, on top of the 5th, 6th. You can see how where it's going, but you want it to circle back and have the last unit on top of the 1st unit. Now the last link is the most tricky, but be patient. And once you finish linking them all, flatten it so that the links lock up to their fullest potential. We're almost there. The last step is to lower all 8 of these flaps that are sticking up. So the first one I lower, and then the second one I also lower. But what I do is that I stick the tip of the second flap into the pocket created by the first flap, in between the red and the white part. It should fit very snugly. Now after the 6th or 7th fold, it can get a bit tricky because you want to loop onto yourself, right? So ideally we want this flap to be inserted into this one, and then this green one to be inserted into that red one. So it's going to be a bit tricky, but everything needs to come together at the same time in a very precise manner. So you got to be a bit patient. So I put this green one in, and it's very easy for these flaps to start unraveling. So make sure that they don't unravel. So I'll keep this one in. I lastly insert this red one. And I reinforce all the existing ones as well. And there you have it, a finished braided corona star, perfect for Christmas season. Thank you so much for watching my JHU how-to tutorial video. If you like my origami, you can follow me on my Instagram
and TikTok, both with the same handle, Jasen, Zhang, Origami. Thank you.